And now, WTOE Radio Live, brought to you by ThroughOurEyes.org.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing today?
Doing great. I'm looking on the positive. It's the right side. How you doing, Janie?
I'm fabulous. I like laughter. I'm on the light side.
Hey, you know what that means?
I think that means we're always looking on the bright side of life.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
I'm so excited. The show is about to begin.
So am I, with my straw hat and cane.
I got my tap shoes on. We're ready to go.
Come on, everybody. It's time for the show.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
Welcome to another edition of On the Bright Side with Janie and Jerry. I'm Jerry, and you're...
Janie, how are you, Jerry?
Well, I'm doing fine, Janie, and how are you on this nice spring day?
Oh, it's beautiful here. I'm in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey, and it's about 68 degrees right now. The windows behind me is open, and a beautiful breeze is coming in as I'm talking to Jerry. Can you believe it? How about you?
Well, we had a nice day today. I think it reached about 73 or 74 here in North Carolina. And I got good news for you.
You do?
Yes, there's a new diner opened up right near my house.
I knew it had to do with food.
You know, in Point Pleasant, I don't know if it's still there. I think it's still there. There's a diner called Duffy's Cafe right on Arnold Avenue near the railroad tracks. And I think the people who own this restaurant here in Matthews called Stacks they were related to them. And they had a delicacy down here called Taylor ham. You can't find a Taylor ham sandwich down here unless you go to a specific, spot. I mean, you could buy it wholesale or a big, like a 5-pound thing of it at Costco, but you really can't find it here. So I'm very happy that I have within walking distance. We've been there 2 times already. It's been only open since Monday.
Oh, you're cute. Oh, it had to do with food. I knew it.
So how's things with you up in Jersey?
Things are good. We had our book club, a shout out to the Echo Book Club, and we happened to read Why Is God Laughing? And we found out that he laughs a lot, and that's a good thing. That's one of the strategies in that book. So Why Is God Laughing by Deepak Chopra, which is not the book for the book corner later, but it's a great book to read.
I often wondered why he's laughing, and I think he really had a good chuckle about 62 years and 3 weeks ago on my birthday, when I was born. But and we're going to talk about this later in the book club. But I actually read a book from start to finish almost in one night. It was a nice mystery. Murder mystery and whatever. Well, we'll talk about that later. But I have to thank you, Janie, for getting me to drop the comic books and really pick up some good literature.
Good for you. I thought it was a Marvel mystery. You know what I mean? The Marvel comics. I thought you were going to tell me.
Well, it was a Marvel that I used to read them, but but anyway, as we often do here on the Bright Side, we start the show off with a little levity, a little fun. We're serious. We're not serious. Jerry tries to make Janie laugh. Jerry tries to make Jerry laugh, and we all look at each other and laugh anyway. But Janie, do you have any words for us tonight? Any inspirational quotes or?
I do. I happen to have one, sure, and it's a simple one, and it's something I like to live by. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. So lots of times kids look up to role models and they find out that the role model is doing something they're not supposed to be doing, or people in high places do not nice things to other people. And it doesn't matter where you live or how you, what nationality you are or how much money you make, but it's easy to be nice. Just try to do that. And then guess what? That'll be more important that you're nice. So that's the way I like to live. It's a good thing because we don't have too much money, right, Jer?
That's right. And it doesn't cost anything to be nice, does it?
No, not at all.
Not at all. And you know that expression, well, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. I tried putting two legs at a time, but I tripped, so I really couldn't do it. But anyway, we have a special show tonight, don't we, Janie?
We sure do, and we want to tell the audience so they'll stick with us, and we'll give them a little tease for what's coming up next.
Well, today we're having a sports theme, and we're going to be talking about it's easy for you to golfing, or as it's in the Three Stooges when Mo was hitting the divots and the guy yelled at him and he goes, "What are you yelling at, Mauler?" or Curly would go, he would look up in the air and he goes, "Look at the golfs, look at the golfs." But yes, we have a special guest and we'll be talking about golfing, and after that we're going to come back from our first segment. The second segment's going to have a little fun, little how would you say it? A little dedication to mothers, right? Little,
yes,
whatever. In a fantastic book club. I don't have too much technology today, but we'll fill it in that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break right now for 2 minutes, and then when we come back, we'll introduce our special guests. So please, do not go away. We'll be right back.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
How would you feel if your children went to school and weren't taught to read? Today, less than 10% of blind children are taught to read Braille. Literacy is a basic right. Learning to read Braille is the key to success. Without it, a blind child doesn't have a chance. For more information on Braille literacy and blindness, contact me, Mark Maurer, President, National Federation of the Blind, 410-659-9314.
Melting polar ice was a dirty look. Shrinking glaciers, a nudge. Dying forests, they were a tap on the shoulder. We got a finger in our chest from the rising sea level, and a sharp poke in the ribs from recent wildfires in Alaska. Then dying coral reefs and eroding coastlines pushed us hard. The drowned polar bears, that was a shove. Melting permafrost, that was a slap. Rising ocean temperatures and extreme weather, an uppercut. Then record-breaking heat waves hit us right where it hurts. Has it occurred to anyone that maybe the Earth is trying to get our attention?
We can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution before it's too late. To find out how, go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
I can listen.
I can cook.
Good. I can coach.
Kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
I can drive.
I can paint.
I can dance.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
I can read.
I can help.
You can help. Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
The golf swing. First, step up.
Plant your feet firmly on the ground and address the ball. Wait a minute. What do they mean by address the ball? How should I know? That's what it says here. Well, read a little further. Maybe it explains it. No, that's all it says. Address the ball. Wait a minute. I think I know what it means there. Here, give me the club. Step up. Plant your feet firmly. Hello, ball.
Well, he was hitting the shots uphill and downhill, and he was really practicing. But poor Ralph just couldn't make it. That's funny, Janie, isn't it?
I love that episode. Yeah, that's a great one. Oh, boy. But we have somebody who can hit a golf ball.
That's true. But before we introduce our guest, you want to give our phone number out for people to call us?
I would love to do that. It's 1-888-572-0141. And it can be for our guest, Jerry, Janie, or even our webmaster, Lenny. So don't be afraid to call 888-572-0141. Toll free, baby.
That's right. Please call us because we'd rather hear. Never mind. But anyway, we have with us Mario Tobia, who is, as I heard, a golfer. Now, I've never golfed before, but I'm sure we're going to learn on how to golf and what golfing is and all the history of golf just on our very show. Right, Janie? So, Mario, Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, we'd just like to thank you for taking your time to talk to us about what you're doing with golf and all the different things. And you did give us a little bit of your history. And knowing me with technology, I might want to swing into that a little bit. But before we go on, Mario, and before we talk about the sport of golfing, the links, as I think they say, could you just give us a little bit of history? If someone wanted to know, who is Mario Tobia? Could you give us a minute's worth of your background?
A minute's worth of my background. Well, I have an eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sound great.
Okay. I have an eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed when I was 25 years old with it, and I was one of the lucky ones where up until that point I had pretty normal vision. And anybody who has RP knows that it's a slow degenerative disorder. So over the course of 30 years or so, I started losing my vision. Was night blind by the time I was 30. I had to stop driving by the age of 40, and then needed a cane to help me navigate by the age of 50. I picked up golf at the age of 30, actually because of my eye condition, because I was unable to do some of the other sports that I played when I was younger, like basketball and baseball and those kinds of things. Tennis, they're too difficult to see. So I started picking up golf, and I've been playing ever since. The last 3 years, I've been playing as a totally blind golfer, and I play with the Middle Atlantic Blind Golf Association, which is a regional golf association in the Delaware Valley area. And we play 40 times a year, and it's open to any legally blind person who lives in the area. And through that, I started enjoyed golf so much, I started playing in national tournaments and had some success there too.
Well, that sounds very interesting. Janie, you have a thought there? You want to? I can see that question mark over your head.
I would love to speak. Can you share some of your competitive accomplishments?
I'm a two-time American Blind Golf National Champ. I played in 10 national events over the last 3 years since I've been declared total, and I've won 4, came in second in 2, and came in third in 3. So I've finished in the top 3 in 9 out of 10 of the last national tournaments I played in.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, I'm sure that there's people out there who maybe who are listening to the live or on our podcast, or are saying blind and golf just don't go together. If someone said to you, "How do you do it?" How would you answer them?
Actually, golf is probably one of the easier sports for a blinded or visually impaired individual to play. There's no hand-eye coordination involved. You have to develop a swing that it's reliable enough that you can get back to the ball. And we play with a person, we call him a coach, who guides you on the course, drives the carts, finds the balls for you, those kinds of things. And then when you get to the ball, he lines you up, gives you the direction, the distance to the hole, and the layout of the course. And then what I'll do is I'll pull my club. I know exactly how far each of my clubs go, and then I go ahead and execute the shot. When we get close to the green, where accuracy is even more important, we start walking off the distance from the ball to the hole. So usually when we get within maybe 30 paces of the hole, we'll start walking it off. So if I'm putting or chipping, I have an even better feel for how far I have to hit.
You haven't said anything hardly different than what some sighted golfers do. They have some of them have these little computers that'll try to give them the distance and the wind direction instead of picking up the grass and throwing it. And I too have a disease called Leber's congenital amaurosis, which led to blindness over the years. So I was driving for a couple of years, and now the only thing I drive is my wife crazy. But I could remember watching golf tournaments where as soon as you got on the green, the man would go and look at the lie of the ball and look at the grass and go around to the other side of the hole and get a feel for the shot and that's what you're doing, except instead of using your own eye, you're using someone else's, or you're not using a computer or something. Janie, have you ever golfed before?
I mini golf, and that's a trip. But my father was a very good golfer, and my three brothers all caddied at Glenridge Country Club with my dad. And my dad probably could have gone on tour, but he had no money to do that back in the day. But he was a wonderful golfer, and he used to shoot in the high 70s and low 80s. And I was going to ask our buddy Mario, can you give us is it like 85-ish, 90 that you shoot, or where do you?
A normal casual round I can shoot. I usually shoot in the low mid 90s. When I'm playing, better, I shoot in the high, mid 80s, high 80s. The other day I played Lulu Country Club and hit an 84, which was actually my best round as a blind golfer.
Terrific. And besides golf, we're going to talk about golf more, but besides golf, what are your other hobbies or things that you like to do? And can you give us a little bit of background about your family?
Well, I'm married with two boys. They're both, they're out of school now. They both played baseball in high school and college, and they're both avid golfers. And when they were younger, I taught them how to play golf, and unfortunately, within the first couple of years of learning how to play golf, they've surpassed my skills and are much better golfers at that. They coach me at the national level. So when I play in national tournaments, one of my two sons, or sometimes both of them, will accompany me to those tournaments. When I play locally, I have a couple gentlemen that I use that are my coaches.
Sounds
Very
great.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
There are some sighted people who would love to hit 84 or whatever. My oldest brother Cyrus, who, he's 80. He'll be 80. 81 this year. But when he was in his prime, he had at least one hole-in-one in his career, and he used to hit into the 70s or whatever, and went into tournaments and things like that. But it's it is an interesting thing when you think about it, how the quote sighted world unquote would almost exclude someone from golfing, and yet there are hundreds, as I can imagine, of golfers who are visually impaired. Some of them, maybe have a little vision or not, but it's just I don't want to say fascinating. It's just another thing, Janie. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's another stereotype that is broken. That a blind person, with the proper training and the proper equipment, the proper help, can do almost anything that a sighted person can do. It's just it just makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying, Janie?
I do, and I agree with you. And you found the way to do it. You tweaked it to yourself. And how would you encourage somebody that never did, or they did a sport when they saw, like you did basketball, you said, and whatever, and that's a tremendously active sport. And golf is a lot more laid back, I would say, and more specific for when you're striking the ball or what have you. How would you encourage somebody that's not exercising to get up and exercise and not be afraid? Can you give us a little statement about that?
Yeah, as part of the Middle Atlantic Blind Golfers, we try to encourage people that are visually impaired and blind to get out and be active. And with our group, it's not a competitive group. It's more of a recreational group. It's more of a social group. So we encourage people to go out and play. In our group, it's not important how good you are. What's important is that you're getting out there and you're doing something and you're active. And that's what I try to encourage people to do. Go out and find something you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be sports. It doesn't have to be golf. It could be anything. But just go out there and start socializing with people and be active and get out of the house. And but if you are active, if you're one of those people that are active and like to be outside, this is a terrific organization to do that. We play 40 times a year. And that's a lot of events to go out and play. You certainly don't have to go to all of them, but to go out there and socialize with your peers. And after we're done, we usually go into the clubhouse and get something to eat, and spend a half hour, an hour in there just talking to the other people. And the funny thing about it is, even though it's a blind golf organization, we rarely talk about blind issues. We talk about golf issues, why we're not hitting the ball well. We talk about life. We talk about sports. We don't dwell on the fact that we can't see. We try to just dwell on why the Eagles didn't pick a quarterback in a higher round and those kinds of things.
But Mary, I have a question for you. You're more or less Janie and I's age, as I gathered from what you said. Over the years, you've watched golfers and professional golfers. Yeah, any favorite golfer, like you could say, that's the one that you'd like to watch play or you follow?
Well, Tiger Woods is probably the most popular right now. When he's in a tournament and he's in contention, I think I enjoy watching those tournaments. But I like all the top name players: Rory McIlroy, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, all those guys, all the top golfers I really enjoy. But Tiger's probably still my favorite.
Yeah. There's one from the past that I like to watch was Chi Rodriguez. Do you remember him?
I absolutely do. He was enjoyable to watch.
And if I'm not mistaken, he would just run right up to, I don't know if he would run, but he would walk right to the ball and putt it. I mean, he didn't wait, like he didn't have 10 minutes on the green. He just went, and it was just so exciting.
He's a very fast player. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd just like to just turn the corner a little bit now, and because you are a multifaceted person, as we can tell, and could you just give us a little bit of what you do, for a living, and how you're working with veterans?
Yeah, when I'm not playing golf, I'm contracted with the Philadelphia VA and the Wilmington VA, and I train visually impaired and blinded veterans in South Jersey and Delaware. And I trained them on adaptive technologies, in particular computers. So I'll do evaluations on them, determine what their issues are. Some if they're total, we might recommend a product like JAWS, a screen reader. Some others we recommend another product, guide. Then you have some veterans who have issues with their hands or unable to type because they have multiple handicaps. Some have MS or some even diabetes. They have difficulty typing. So we'll use product like Dragon or JSay with them. Those are probably about maybe 10 or so different software products that we use. So I'll go do the evaluation, purchase the computers for them through the VA, and then install the software and set it up in their homes and do the training with them.
That sounds very... Janie, we have a caller.
We do. How wonderful.
Caller, is that Cheryl on the line?
It is. Hello, Janie and Jerry and Mario. How are you tonight?
Oh.
Doing well. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
I'm doing well. I do have a question for Mario. Now, I've always been interested in golf myself, and I watch the Masters whenever I can, and big Tiger Woods fan myself. Do you guys have something similar to like a Masters tournament you do every year, like that kind of thing? And if you do, where do you have it? And are there any... is there a website that I could look up in my local area to find out how to learn to play golf and join the organization?
Sure. There's a number of national tournaments, and the one that they call the Masters of Blind Golf is the Guiding Eye Classic, which is up in Westchester, New York. And in fact, that's early June they have that. And that's an invitational tournament. You have to be... they invite the top 14 blind golfers in the country to participate in that. And that's that's an invitational. The United States, there's two national organizations. That's the American Blind Golf and the United States Blind Golf Association. And they have qualifiers that you have to meet. If you're totally blind, I think you have to shoot 3 scores under 125 to qualify. And you have to do that in the presence of a golf pro. So usually what you do is you would go to a course, you notify the golf pro that you're trying to qualify for the nationals, and they have to attest to your score. And they're supposed to watch you play and shoot. Sometimes they just come out. I know in my case they came out, they watched me hit maybe 2 or 3 holes, and then they went away, and then they came back another 2 or 3 holes, and you can get a general feel pretty quickly if by watching a player hit a hole or 2, how good they are. Local groups, there's not a lot of local groups. What part of the country do you live?
I'm in New York, actually, on Long Island. I'm familiar with the area you're talking about because it's near one of the guide dog schools. Yes.
Yeah, that's that. In fact, that's a big fundraiser for the Guiding Eye. They probably raised last year, I think, in excess of $500,000, $700,000, somewhere in that. It's a big fundraising tournament. And what they do is one day they have the 14 blind golfers will play in an event, and then the following day they'll play. They have so many golfers, they play over 2 courses, and they have a lot of heavy sponsorship. I know last year when we went, they auctioned off one of the dogs that did not qualify to be a guide dog, and they usually sell them off as pets. And they auctioned off the rights to one of those dogs, and I think that got $10,000 just for the right to get one of these dogs. So they raised a lot of money for the guide.
Well, Cheryl,
dogs.
I'd like to thank you for your call. We got about a minute and a half left, so I just wanted to ask Mario, if somebody wanted to reach you, to talk to you, what's the best way to contact you?
The easiest way to contact me is just go to the Middle Atlantic Blind Golf website, and that website is www.mabga.org, and MABGA stands for Middle Atlantic Blind Golf Association.org. And on there's you can click on contact us, and those emails come to me. I'm also the webmaster for that website. So I get a copy of all the emails that come through there, and they can ask me, any personal questions. They can ask me anything about golf, and I'll be more than happy to respond to them.
Well, we'd like to thank you for coming, Janie. I think we're going to ask Mario in the future to come as a technology person. What do you think?
I think that would be great. I'd love to hear all that stuff. Yeah, we'll have you as a tech pro next time. How's that, Mario?
Absolutely, I'd love to do that.
Terrific. You did a great job tonight, and thank you for all the emails back and forth, and it worked out great. Thank you for sharing yourself with the audience. I appreciate it.
Thank you both of you.
Thank you, Mario. And if you missed that, the website, you can always reach us through the mailbag at what is that? www.throughouroureyes.org, right, Janie?
Yes. But it's too many things, because then it's /brightside.html. You're better off doing Mid-Atlantic Blind Golf Association.
That's true, and then he can send us the information.
That's right.
Okay, we're going to go to a long break for 4 minutes, and then we're going to come back with a special video and some little bit of tech talk and a book corner and a whole lot of fun. So don't go away. Stay tuned.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
Amber Alert, abducted child, African-American girl, 6 years old. Suspect, Caucasian male, 30 to 35, 6 feet, 180 pounds, wearing blue shirt, black jeans.
Now when an Amber Alert is issued,
White van, out-of-state license, X-ray 687 Charlie.
you can get the same information the authorities get right on your cell phone. Sign up for free at wirelessamberalerts.org. When an Amber Alert is issued in the areas you've chosen, you'll receive a free text message. If you spot the vehicle, the suspect, or the child described in the alert, call 911. Sign up today at wirelessamberalerts.org. Think of it. Something as simple as a free text message could free an abducted child.
All units, Amber Alert canceled. Child recovered safely. Suspect is in custody. Repeat, Amber Alert canceled.
wirelessamberalerts.org. A child is calling for help. This message brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
Mommy, you sure take the time and do a lot just to keep me safe. Knee pads, baby gates, corner cushions, socket covers, and that fancy car seat for big girls like me. Where'd you find that thing?
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident, 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 150. You know the odds of autism. Now learn some of the signs. No big smiles or other joyful expressions by 6 months. No back and forth sharing of sounds or facial expressions by 9 months. And no babbling by 12 months. To learn more of the signs and more about autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
So, Mom, while you're remembering to protect me from the unthinkable, don't dismiss the possible.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
They're going to jump out of trees. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
I'm Judy, and my name is Johnny. We're 10 years old and we're blind. Our dreams are to become scientists.
My name is Catherine. I'm 24 years old and I'm blind. I'm currently in law school, and one day I dream of becoming an attorney.
My name is Bill.
I'm 74 years old and I've just become blind. My dream is to remain independent in my own home and not have to go to a nursing home just because I'm blind.
The National Federation of the Blind of New York has been helping blind people achieve their dreams since 1956. Help keep their dream machine running and visit blindnewyorkers.org to make a donation. You can also call them at 718-567-7821. Blind people are your neighbors and colleagues, so learn more about blindness and make your contribution today. Go to blindnewyorkers.org or call 718-567-7821. The National Federation of the Blind of New York. Today's dreams can become tomorrow's realities.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Memory lane, memory lane, I walk memory lane.
Welcome back to On the Bright Side with Janie and Jerry. I'm Jerry, and you're still...
I'm still Janie. Unfortunately or fortunately, that's who I am.
Oh, well, we love you either way.
Aw, that's
and
nice.
What I'd like to do is hand over the baton to you, and you can talk about the video.
I would be happy to do that. So coming up on Sunday happens to be Mother's Day. And next month, after we do our show, will be Father's Day. And this is the time that you're supposed to, this particular Sunday, remember your mom. Doesn't necessarily have to be your mom. It could be your aunt. It could be your next door neighbor, the lady that helped you. It could be a little old lady that's down the street that you like to go and visit, but has the appearance or the feel of a mom. And me well enough to know that personally, for me, Mother's Day is every day. You should be grateful every day to have a nice mom. You should be grateful every day to have nice kids and a nice husband and a nice family, or whatever you have, you should be grateful. But for whatever reason, we pick Sunday, the second Sunday of every May, to be Mother's Day. And jogs your memory and says, I better call mom. So hopefully you'll do that, and hopefully you'll make it special for her and for you. And we do have a nice little video, and I hope you enjoy it. It's only a couple of minutes, and just think about what this says. Okay, we're ready for the video.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Dear Mom, this song is for you, for putting up with me when I was young, and all that you've done. I love you, Mom.
Yummy candy passed around, singing hearts just love to sound. True love shall this happy day, and in my heart that love will stay.
So happy Mother's Day, celebrated every May on the second Sunday. But I'm grateful every day that I have you as my mom. And I tell anyone that I love my mom. So happy Mother's Day.
So happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
So happy Mother's Day, celebrated every May on the second Sunday. But I'm grateful every day that I have you as my mom. And I tell anyone that I love my mom.
Very nice, Janie. Where did you find that?
And there was about 10 different ones, and I thought that one was cute because it sounds like little kids are singing to their mom. I just thought it was really cute. And if my mom were here, I'd say Happy Mother's Day, Mom. So hopefully she's watching and she knows that we love her. So,
You know, for all of us that don't have a mom, we can always go adopt one.
I've done
Right?
that too. A lot of my people in my Echo group are kind of like my mom. I treat them like my kids. I, nurture them and things like that. But they're older. They're 85 and 90 years old, some of the people in my group, and they're active. Talked about being active. It's important to keep healthy. Get outside. It's beautiful weather. It was rainy today. So what? When the rain stopped, it was a beautiful day.
That's right.
It really was.
If it wasn't for rain, we wouldn't have umbrellas. but I'm sorry, but
okay.
I really don't have much of a tech tip this week, but I do want to report on the fact that Madeline and I want to talk about Madeline in a minute. Madeline and I and about 18 other people went on a fundraiser on a cruise to Bermuda, and we had a very good time, and I ate. And then we had a very good time. I mean, they had free pizza at night, free sandwiches, all-you-could-eat buffets. I mean, it was really a wonderful time. There was, I think we raised $1,100 for the NFB of New Jersey. And we're thinking about doing this again. I don't know as a fundraiser, but I want to go on another cruise. Janie, have you ever been on a cruise?
I have never been on a cruise. No. What do you do between eating? Is there any time going from one place to another? Did you eat everywhere on that cruise, Jerry? Is what I want to know.
Well, I'll tell you. They had trivia contests during the afternoon and evening. They had an ice show. They had a Broadway. You would have loved it. It was like Dancing with the Stars with Broadway tunes because they have a big theater on. It's a 14-story. Looks like a hotel on a ship. They had they would have had rock climbing, but it was outside and it was a little chilly, so they didn't have that. They had numerous pools and clubs, and they had a cigar lounge for those that like to lounge around with cigars. They had something called Silent DJ. Did I tell you about that?
No, I want to find out. Besides what they had, I want to find out what you utilized besides food.
In what respect?
You're telling us what they had there. What did you go to, you yourself?
Oh, well, I Madeline and I won 2 trivia contests.
Good.
And one of them was name that tune, name that artist, and it was big band. Ooh. And so you got 2 points for each right answer. One for the artist, one for the song. Right. And out of 40 points, we got 28 points. And I said, wow, what am I going to get? Like his and her watches, maybe a ship's clock, maybe dinner with the captain. And I got this little 99-cent keychain. It was so cute. Then the next day, we won a general trivia contest, and we actually won a couple of umbrellas.
You did? You could have been here today.
That's right. Then they had a love and marriage show, which was a couple married 48 years, a couple married 17 years, and a couple married less than a year, and they would ask questions just like on the show that the Newlywed Game and things like that. Then when we went to Bermuda, we went on a horse and buggy ride, which was very informative, very, very interesting. Then on Tuesday morning, Madeline, Mrs. Ruffalo, Judy Ruffalo, and I we missed the ferry, so we took the bus to another bus, and we went to St. George's, which was a city about 45 minutes by ferry on the way home. We saw a church that was built in 1612.
Wow.
And we went to Mama Angelina's place to eat. I had to get reading in here now. And I had something called rockfish, which was beautiful. But Madeline and Judy had a hamburger. Now, you think a simple hamburger would be, it's a hamburger. Well, we must have waited about 30 minutes for them to cook it. And I think what they did is they ground the beef, formed the patty, and cooked it. You can tell it wasn't, an out-of-the-box frozen hamburger. Right. And we really had a good time. And I would encourage anyone that's never been on a cruise before to go on a cruise. And you can get one right out of Bayonne. You get one out of Baltimore, Wilmington, North Carolina. You can get them out of Miami. You can get them out of Tampa. Wherever there's water, you can find a cruise. And if you're looking for a good travel agent, you can go to the Echeverria Traveler, which is also one of the things I wanted to ask you. Janie, could you go over the lineup we have here on WTOE Internet Radio?
I sure can. I don't know about everybody's, but I can do the ours.
Ours.
Yes. So the first Wednesday of each month is Cheryl Echeverria with her show on travel. So very informative. She talks about all of the places she's been to and upcoming events. And I believe that our own Jerry Marino was a guest co-host last time, and I thought I was going to lose him to Cheryl. But no, he's back. Darn. Oh, good.
Unfortunately for you.
The second Wednesday of every month at 8. I believe Cheryl's is also at 8. The second Wednesday of every month at 8 is our show, which I personally think happens to be the best because we talk about food. Anyway, on the
and
bright
books.
side, it's Janie and Jerry and books, right? Cookbooks, actually. The third Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. is my brother Joe's show, Joe Ruffalo's show, Through Our Eyes, which was the original show in 2005, I think. And the last Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. is Looking Good Without Looking with Linda and Johanna. And it's a great show. If you want to be mod and neat and make sure you look the part and act the part and are the part, you should listen to that show. And you want to talk about anything, if anybody wants to send a donation, Jerry?
Yes, I was just about. It was on the back of my head, and I'm glad Madeline wasn't here to smack me to the front. But if anyone is, we could use your help, because this is all by volunteer and all by raising funds. We don't have major sponsors or whatever. But if you want to sponsor us, you could. And if you're looking for a donation, to give a donation, we will gladly accept it. Doesn't matter whether it's $1, 10, 20, 30, whatever it is, we'll gladly take it. And if you want more information about that, you can contact us. Jenny, you want to give the email?
I can do the email, but you can actually, if you're going to send a donation, and that would be great, you would write the donation check to
that's right.
Through Our Eyes. You don't even have to put .org. You can if you want, but Through Our Eyes, THRUOUREYES, and in the memo, you can just put donation, and it's going to go to 254 Spruce Street, Bloomfield, New Jersey, 07003. That's the best way to do it, and we would appreciate that. We're on limited funds right now. We have enough for the rest of this year, and we don't know after that. So we're trying all kinds of things to try and help us stay on the air, and hopefully it'll all work itself through. And I have faith and optimism that it's going to do just that. So we thank you if you can do that.
We have a request from Lenny.
I have to do a correction.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The donations, if they would like to donate,
yes,
the check should be made out to the National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey.
Okay.
And within the memo, you would write for throughouryes.org.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then the address would be our president's address, if you want to give that out, Janie.
I did.
Oh,
so
okay.
254 Spruce Street, Bloomfield, New Jersey, 07003. And with Lenny's help, if you don't want to write National Federation, all that, you can just write NFBNJ. National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey, and then in the memo put throughouryes.org. So the NFBNJ is the 5013C, and they'll get it, and then the Through Our Eyes it'll go in that line item for us to sustain us for next year. We appreciate any of that. Thanks, Lenny, for the correction.
That's correct. And that makes it a tax-deductible donation.
Great.
Why, thank you. And before I turn it over to you, Jane, I just wanted to give a shout out to my wife Madeline there, who was feeling a little queasy during the cruise, and she thought it might have been to the seasickness, but it wasn't. It was a gallbladder attack, and she had her gallbladder removed on a Monday, and it was a week, couple of days ago, and she's doing well, and she's going to the doctor tomorrow to get her. She was in 6:30, operated at 8:30, and she was home by 12:30. It's amazing. So just, hello, Madeline, get well.
She's doing fine now.
Janie, I read a book.
I can't believe it.
Yes, it was cool, and it wasn't a comic book or a Star Trek or a comedy book.
What was that book, Jerry?
It was called The Book of Old Houses by Susan Graves, and according to my most reputable source, she has, I think, 10 or 11 books on Bard site, which is the site that from the National Library Service, or you can get it on Amazon or wherever else you get your books in print or in e-books or whatever. It was almost 10 hours long. I read the first chapter at one sitting, and I read the rest the rest of the in one night. It was fascinating. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for expanding my world, Janie, outside of comic books and Star Trek. So,
are you still coloring? No, I'm kidding.
Yes, I'm still coloring. I still get yelled at for coloring the wall without the paper, and before I turn it over to you, do you remember years ago there was the thing where you put the plastic sheet on the television and you drew on the television screen?
Yes.
I drew without the plastic screen. See, what a beating I got.
Oh my gosh, I could just hear it. Madame Nemi, what are you doing, Jerry?
Well, they wanted a color TV, so I was trying to color it. but let's turn the corner, please, Janie. And what do you have for us tonight?
We have a nice book corner. I'll tell you a little story about this book corner. There's a murder mystery series called the Gladdy Gold series. Every book starts getting old like that. So the series goes like this: getting old is murder. Getting old is the best revenge. Getting old is criminal. Getting old is to die for. Getting old is a disaster. Getting old is this is my favorite one because Jerry and Joe can't say it. Getting old is très dangereux. And the last one is getting old can kill you. This whole series was written by Rita Lakin. I'm talking about it tonight, but I'm also going to be talking about it with Rita Lakin in August. She agreed to be a guest. Now, let me tell you about Rita Lakin. Rita Lakin is 83. She also wrote for Peyton Place, Dallas, or Dynasty, one of those. I'm trying to think.
Mod Squad.
Thank you, the Mod Squad, and there's one more. I can't think of it offhand. She also wrote her own screenplay. She also wrote some off-Broadway shows that are still in existence. In the meantime, she is now living in Northern California, and I sent her an email, Jer. I just, on a whim, like last year, I sent an email to Frances Ray, who agreed to be a guest last August. So I'm going to try if we can get that money and that funds in. Next August, we'll have another real live author. But Rita Lakin wrote to me on Monday and said to me last Monday on the 29th of April at 6:45, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I'd love to be on your phone conference call with the senior division talking about the book that you read, Getting Old is Murder, which is the first book in the series." So I didn't know what to do with myself. It was 6:45, and I'm like, oh, please let there be a few people on this phone call. And there were. We had 9 people on the phone call, which is nice. And a lot of them are lively people like Rebecca and Joe and Janet and Chris and Angela and Les. And it was a great phone conference. And Rita was on it herself, and she introduced, when you go on the conference calls, you say your name and you beep. And she just said, Rita Lakin. And everybody's like, what? Because I only told Joe, you got to be on that call, and it was fabulous. She gave us a whole lot of insight, but I'm going to save all of that for August when she is a guest on our show. She is an Edgar Allan Poe Award winner. You know how hard that is to do? Be the best mystery writer in all of America? She won it, the series.
You know who never won that award?
You.
No, Edgar Allan Poe.
He was.
And he should have too, shouldn't he?
He was eating the raven anyway. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Getting Old is Murder. All of these books are 7 or 8 hours, and this is one of the series where they don't have the same narrator, which I usually don't like. But every narrator, whichever it is, they could get Mitzi Friedlander, whoever, they all read beautifully. It's about a senior citizen facility in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, which we find out from Rita Lakin, actually exists. It has a different name, but it actually exists. And she used to visit down there to visit her mom and whatever. Gladdy Gold is the main lady, and she has a lot of friends down there, including her sister Avi and Sophie and Ida and Bella. And they're the group of ladies that start to get intrigued because 2 ladies ended up dead, and they said it was a heart attack. And both of them died like the night before their birthday, or right on their birthday. So it was too coincidental. And Gladdy decides to start this detective agency with seniors that are mostly all Jewish. So they have a little glossary of Yiddish terms like a mensch and meshugana, and you'll learn all about that in the book. It's hysterical. There's a guy that models himself after my brother Joe and tells terrible jokes. His name is Hai Binder. And through the levity, Gladdy and her group solve these murders. And it's really beautifully done, and they grow throughout the series. I've read the whole series. It's fabulous. So if you have time this summer, take out the book or download the book Getting Old is Murder by Rita Lakin. That's RITALAKIN, and you will not be disappointed. It's just a great series, a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. So that's my book corner for tonight.
That is excellent. I mean, it's just amazing how. I mean, I can imagine how you would introduce in Joe Ruffalo, Janie Danielson, Rita Lakin. It's like, and it's just, our worlds are expanding like my waistline, and but I did download that book, Getting Old is Murder,
Good.
and what was that French one that?
Getting old, it means very dangerous, is très dangereux.
Très dangereux.
That's pretty good. He goes like this, Joe. Getting old, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's not it. Anyway, I do want to say one quick tech tip, Jerry. It's not really a tech tip, but Rita Lakin had never heard her books audio described.
Uh-huh.
She's read them, of course, and she wrote them, so she knew what they were about. But when I did the bookmarking and I ran the book club, she was in awe about how Kai would tell his jokes, or one of the ladies had Sophie like in a real Jewish voice, like I don't know if I can even do it. What? You said what? Come on, she's not the Meshugana, she's a mensch, come on, like that. She was just really cute. Like, get the laka, hurry up, all of that. And she just was marveled. So we're working on, she lives in California with the California Library, getting her a digital player. And I will download those 7 books on a cartridge and send them to her before August. So when she's on the show, she can tell us how wonderful it is to listen for the first time.
Mazel tov.
Yes. Very good, Jerry. Now say the name of that book.
Which one?
Getting Old is this French.
Très dangereux. Des importances. Can I tell you something about food again? Yesterday, when I went to the diner, I told the man that I asked him. He was the owner, and he came to greet us. I said, "Do you make spanakopita and pastisio?" He started talking to me in Greek, as if I'm Greek. I said, "I don't speak Greek. I just eat." He thought by my accent that I could understand Greek. I can understand food, but and I told you I did download the book.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to reading that. It's just amazing how there's so much out there, and I also did one on the railroads. There's a 15-hour book on railroads. So I started to read that. I got my ticket and I got on board, and I started to read that. Oh, thank you, Joe.
Gary, this book for you, a special book for you. It's about Alice.
Yeah, Janie. Yes. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
What?
So you want to give me 30 seconds of what's happening in New Jersey and whatever you want to,
That's easy for you to say.
No, actually, it's just all.
When's our next show? Our next show is June 12th. Let's see, today's the 8th, so 15, yes, 12th. June 12th will be our next show, and we're going to have an author on. And she happens to be from the NFB of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And shout out to her. I'm not going to tell you anything about her, but I want you to tune in June on the 12th. It's going to be yet another great show. I do want to let you know that we are taking the month of July off as vacation time. Well deserved. Lenny needs a break from all these 10 shows or whatever that he runs with
He needs
Lori.
a break from us.
Well, we know that, but unfortunately he has to live with us all the time. But we want to thank you guys for always tuning in. You give us great support, and we just want to continue to do this and try and make a difference via laughter. That's my end game. Good night, all.
That's right. And I just wanted to say, I don't know, I didn't hear what if you had said it, but all the shows will be off. We'll be off the air for the month of July for retooling and reforming and regrouping and tres de gerant and all of that stuff, and we'll be back in August. But also we're going to Orlando. We'll be there from the 1st to the 6th for the National Federation of the Blind Convention. We'll be at the Rosen Center. You can get information about that at nfb.org. And say goodnight, Janie.
Good night, Janie. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Jerry. Good night. See you in August.
Bye.
Always look on the light side of life.
All words, ideas, and content expressed on The Bright Side are solely those of Jane Degenshine and Jerry Marino,
and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the Northeast New Jersey Chapter, or WTOE Internet Radio Network.
If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, down with silly chumps, just purse your lips and whistle, that's the thing. Hey, always look on the bright side of life. Come on, guys, cheer up. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Worst things happen at sea, you know. Always look on the bright side of life. I mean, what you gonna lose? You know, you come from nothing, you're going back to nothing. What have you lost? Always look on the bright side of life.
Hi, this is Joe Ruffalo of WTOE Radio. If you are a resident in New Jersey and would like to join one of our chapters or have some more information about our chapters, please contact me at 973-743-0075 or email me at nfbnj@yahoo.com.
Advertise your events on internet radio and podcasts free. Need to advertise your club or organization's next event? Whether it's one announcement or different ones weekly or monthly, now you can. ThroughOurEyes.org, using our WTOE radio live broadcast and our podcast, give you the ears of the world. You can take advantage of our free offer in one of two ways: recording your announcement on your computer or calling our toll-free telephone number. Visit our website to learn more. Are you stuck in front of your computer listening to our shows? Well, you may be happy to know that you don't have to be anymore. Hi, this is Keith Zalley, your announcer here at WTOE Radio. Of course, you know we broadcast live on ThroughOurEyes.org, but did you know we simulcast on Facebook, Ustream.tv, as well as all of our show's host websites? And now you don't have to be stuck trying to catch your favorite show on your computer. You can listen or even watch our shows live right on your smartphone or iPad. During broadcast nights, just point your phone or iPad browser to our mobile site, m.throughOurEyes.org, and click on the Listen or Watch Live link. WTOE also offers many smart apps for your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android, Windows Mobile, or Nokia phones, iPads too. All for free. Visit our main site, www.throughoureyees.org/appstores.html, and download your free app today. Hi, I'm Keith Zalley, your announcer here at throughoureeyes.org. Thanks for tuning in to WTOE Radio's live broadcast. Our recording session will start shortly. While you are waiting, I'd like to ask all our listeners who have not yet registered at Through Our Eyes to consider doing so. Registering helps us ascertain whom our listeners are, where they come from, if they are blind or visually impaired, as well as other important information which helps us guide us in providing programming that will meet our visitors' needs. I urge all our listeners to register today. It's free and only takes a minute to complete the process. Please read our privacy policy so you can be assured that the information you provide stays with us and only us, and you'll never get any unwanted emails. Well, we're almost ready to begin. Since what you are about to listen to is live, after each recording of the show, you'll hear approximately 15 minutes of music. This is the time we are contacting our next guest for the next show. When the show starts, you'll hear it in its entirety. Our recording sessions usually comprise 3 separate shows, each about 15 to 20 minutes in length, with approximately 15 minutes between each session. So once again, thanks for listening to WTOE Radio Live. Our recording session will start momentarily. I'm Keith Zalley. Hi, I'm Keith Zalley, your announcer here at throughoureyes.org. Thanks for tuning in to WTOE Radio's live broadcast. Our recording session will start shortly. While you are waiting, I'd like to ask all our listeners who have not yet registered at Through Our Eyes to consider doing so. Registering helps us ascertain whom our listeners are, where they come from, if they are blind or visually impaired, as well as other important information which helps us guide us in providing programming that will meet our visitors' needs. I urge all our listeners to register today. It's free and only takes a minute to complete the process. Please read our privacy policy so you can be assured that the information you provide stays with us and only us, and you'll never get any unwanted emails. Since what you are about to listen to is live, after each recording of the show, you'll hear approximately 15 minutes of music. This is the time we are contacting our next guest for the next show. When the show starts, you'll hear it in its entirety. Our recording sessions usually comprise 3 separate shows, each about 15 to 20 minutes in length, with approximately 15 minutes between each session. So once again, thanks for listening to WTOE Radio Live. the next hour, join Steve and his guests as they talk about topics geared to educate and inform his audience. Listen as Steve brings his unique experiences as an author, business leader, teacher, and law enforcement professional to the conversation. Together with outstanding guests, Steve asks the questions that make a difference in his listeners' lives. You're guaranteed to be better off after you listen to the KOVACS Perspective than before his show started. So, sit back, relax, and see what his show can do for you.
Welcome to the KOVACS Perspective, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Steve KOVACS, your host. You know, we were going to have two guests today, two physicians, and our first physician could not make it. You know, sometimes doctors have emergencies that they have to run to. But our first guest was going to talk about life after death. She's an orthopedic surgeon that while on vacation, while kayaking, she drowned. She was underwater for about 20 minutes, approximately 20 minutes. She died, but yet she lived. She was going to come on and talk about her book that's been out just about a few months to my knowledge, and it's making noise all over the country. It's a very popular topic that people really want to hear about, and we're going to have this guest again. Again, doctors have emergencies, and sometimes they just have to run at that last minute, and the good doctor is a surgeon and could not be with us at the last minute. But we also have another doctor. And this doctor has been with us a number of times. I think this might be our fourth time. And his name is Dr. Faheem Younus, and I'm going to introduce you to you good folks to him in a minute or two after we have some commercials. But let me talk to you and tell you what we want to discuss with the good doctor today. We've had the Boston Marathon bombing. We've had terrorism, Muslim terrorist acts in the United States, abroad, of course, the Middle East. And you know what we're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, are we not? That Muslims are terrorists. Muslims are bad, mean people. And I hear people saying that they're all bad. I hear some people are saying they should all be deported. They should all be killed. They slaughter their own. They slaughter innocent people. Now, we have a doctor that's a physician, practicing, renowned physician, an activist. He calls himself a Muslim American. He says Muslims are not bad people. It's not a bad faith. He has so much of that he advocates, and he crystallizes. Let's crystallize that subject matter. Let's find out what's going on with Muslims across the United States, across the world. Are they bad? Does their Quran tell them, kill Christians? Kill the infidels. Kill anybody that's not a Muslim. Is there really a good Muslim? I'm telling you, people are angry in the United States, and a lot of them are saying, no, there is not. Well, I want to get to the truth. Let's talk to Dr. Faheem Younus, but we'll get to that after these short messages. Stick around. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
We'll be right back with Steve and his guests right after these few messages.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. A person suffering from depression might feel sad, empty, or numb. They might sleep more or less, eat a lot or not at all, or show little interest in participating in ordinary activities. Mood swings, including anger and sadness, are common. They're often tired and have a hard time concentrating or making decisions. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. If you see the symptoms of depression, get that person to a doctor. With medical help, depression can be treated and suicide can be prevented. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE. On the web at save.org.
Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo. Every day, the American Red Cross responds to disasters affecting thousands of people, or just one person. Families depend on the Red Cross to respond immediately during times of disaster with food, shelter, emotional support, and other needed assistance. And the American Red Cross depends on you. Please call 1-800-HELP-NOW to make a financial contribution to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. Together, we can save a life.
And now back to the KOVACS Perspective.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Steve KOVACS here with you. For those of you waiting to hear a doctor talk about her life after death experience, she had an emergency apparently and could not make it today. We're going to try to have a whole hour with her because her topic is phenomenal. She's an author, a practicing physician that died on vacation kayaking. She was underwater, drowned for about 20 minutes. So when I say the term she died, but yet she's here. She has an extremely interesting tale to tell us. So we're going to try to make a whole hour. So if you're waiting to see where she's at, she just couldn't be here for the first half of our show. But we have an absolutely great guest. And the reason I say that is he's been here. This will be his fourth time. I like his reasonableness and his honesty, and he talks from the hip. He doesn't lie, in my humble opinion. And I'm going to shoot some things at him, and I want honest, to the point answers, because we're going to talk about a topic that's just it does not get more serious here in the United States. Please join me in introducing Dr. Faheem Younus. How are you, Doc?
Thank you very much for having me, Steve. I'm great.
My pleasure. Doctor, now you've been on a number of times, as I've just mentioned, but tell the folks what you do when you're not on the radio advocating a very serious, important topic to you. What's your day job, my friend?
Sure, I'm a clinical associate professor with University of Maryland. I teach medical students. I see patients. Many of my patients have complicated infections and they're admitted to the hospital. That's my day job.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's what you do. And doctor, I call you a Muslim American or Muslim American. And you like that term, do you not?
Yes, because I think that's at the heart of the matter, the conflicted identity of many of these Muslim youth who were born to largely immigrant parents, and now they have to adapt to a new country, and they're having difficulty reconciling their faith with their American identity. They don't know if they're Americans or if they're Muslims, and what comes first. Even though I think that's an irrelevant question, I am committed to raising a generation of what I call Muslim Americans, the young people, the Muslim Americans who will have absolutely no conflict between their identity to the flag of United States of America and their flag to their commitment to the Holy Quran.
You know, and I'm glad you stopped right there. It was like exactly like you must have read my mind. You used the word the Holy Quran. And I, doctor, not long ago wrote an article regarding terrorism and what it is and where it started from, and I sent you a link to that particular article. Now, after we had a number of people comment on my article, and one respected author of his own right wrote something in my comment section, and I told him, I commented back, Dr. Younus, that I would ask my guest, I'd ask you this, and this is what he writes here. Doctor, please give us your answer on this. He writes that the Holy Quran demands the death of infidels, specifically Christians and Jews. Now, I believe you and I have talked about this matter. Yeah. What do you say to that?
I think, with all due respect, I'll say that person, I guarantee you, has never read the Quran. What they read is a highlighted version of 20-word, 30-word, 40-word out of context verses. And you know and I know similar verses could be pulled out of any other holy text. Quran, in fact, allows believers, Quran calls Jews and Christians as the people of the book. And it allows Muslims to even marry from the people of the book. So I think it wouldn't work very well in a marriage if you were an undercover terrorist trying to kill your spouse, if you see what I mean.
Okay. Well, okay, and let me crystallize that. I mean, you made sense and you worded it well, but you're saying that that's just simply not true.
Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true, Steve. And I'm not going to go into the details. I don't want to be offensive to my listeners, but go to any Barnes and Nobles. You can find plenty of books regarding any faith that will tear that book apart. You can find books that will criticize Torah, that will criticize Bible, that will have those highlighted versions. But I don't like to do that, because I think if I need to understand Bible, my logic tells me that I should ask a Christian. I should not go to a Muslim clergy, because he has a vendetta sometimes. He has, his own interest. So similarly, I'll say, in all fairness, if somebody wants to learn Quran, come to someone who practices it. Come to a Muslim. Don't go to someone who doesn't live the Quran, who doesn't understand the context of the Quran. Would it be fair, Steve, if I listen to a mullah or a religious hardliner in Pakistan and to his understanding of the Bible? That wouldn't be fair.
Okay. Well, and that's what I want to hear from you, Doctor. And ladies and gentlemen, I've had the doctor on a number of times, and there's a reason I do that. I believe him to talk from the heart. He's talking from his heart. He doesn't have an agenda to change. Well, I guess you do in a way, Doctor. You want to bring the truth out, but you're not. You're just telling it as you know it.
Steve, exactly. I don't want people to buy into anything. All I do it, to me, it's a marketplace of ideas. When it comes to religious beliefs, that also is sort of a Walmart. And all I'm saying is I need some shelf space for my product. That's all. Just allow me to have my view out there, and then the customer can decide. But right now what's happening in America, and sometimes in some pockets, is there are other people who are telling people what I believe. I've got a conceptual problem with that. If you want to know what I as a Muslim believe, then you need to give me the opportunity to describe that.
Well, you said it 55 times better than I could have said it, and I was struggling to get that out, because you're right. Here's your product. This is how I feel. And some people, Doctor, and we've discussed this in the past, I'm sure they're saying, well, wait a minute, I just know it, Doctor, that this Faheem guy, okay, he's a doctor, okay, and I know he's a doctor at a prestigious hospital. I do not want to bring that up. They're saying that you've got an agenda, that you want to take over America. Let me finish here, Doctor. That maybe you want to take over America. You want to fool people into thinking Muslims are okay, and that way you get a foothold. And knowing you from reading you, researching you, and talking with you 4 times, I don't buy any of that. As you say, you've got a product. Listen to me, folks. Please listen to me. This is what I ask you to consider. And you're not even saying believe. Consider. Open your eyes to this, please, for the sake of truth and betterment for all of us. So I know some are saying that you got a hidden agenda, but Doctor, what hidden agenda could you have?
My hidden agenda, Steve, is to win over the hearts with my message of love for all, hatred for none. I think people need to understand that who I am and who I represent. I am a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which is the oldest Muslim American organization. We came to the United States almost 100 years ago, and we are established in over 200 countries around the world. I'm not defending each and every Muslim here. I think it will be completely wrong for me to say that there is no problem in the Muslim world. People can go and read. I have written extensively about it. All I'm saying is that Islam, my faith, is like a healthy, peaceful body, but there is a virus in that body. And I think America has a problem with that virus, and I have a problem with that virus. What do I mean by that? When 80% of the people in Egypt, which is a very important Muslim country, believe that anyone who leaves Islam should be killed, that is a virus. That is not what Islam says, and I've got a problem with that. When 90% of the people in Indonesia, which is the most populated Muslim country, believe that their version of Islam has a positive influence on the politics, I have a problem with that, because that kills the idea of separation of church and state. when more than 50% of the people in Pakistan, which is the second most populated Muslim country, say that anyone who blasphemes against the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, should be killed. And my emphasis is killed. I've got a big problem with that. Not that I want anyone to blaspheme against my Prophet. He is dearer to me than my parents. But I do not suggest that people should be harassed or threatened or killed for that reason. So I think that virus is something that the Muslim world has to acknowledge. But the beauty is that my community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, we have been the trailblazers against that kind of extremist ideology for over 100 years. And people need to really look into the nuances, the different sects within Islam before throwing a blanket statement at 1.4 billion people, because I don't believe that you can really create an animosity with 1.4 billion people around the globe who are in literally any country. It doesn't work that way. So we need to use peaceful language, we need to use reasonable language, and we need to build bridges of understanding. I do not think that we will be able to finish this conflict by bullets. In fact, by bullets, we are creating more terrorists. We are creating more hatred for America in that part of the world that already has so many of their own problems. But every time we go in with a drone attack and kill 10 innocent people, guess what? We have created 100 new terrorists who now have a purpose-driven life to kill as many Americans as possible. And by the way, for them, I'm not a Muslim. For them, I'm an American.
You mentioned so much about Muslim, and I know when you mention Jesus' name, you also say,
Peace be upon
blessed
him.
Blessed be his name, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I always say Jesus, peace be upon him, may God's blessings be upon him, because his name is mentioned 28 times in Holy Quran, and my faith as a Muslim is not complete without believing in Jesus's very true mission of prophethood. So Jesus is no foreign figure for Muslims.
Okay. And while we're talking about Muslims, tell me, and this is, I'm going to put you on the spot, but
please do.
Synopsize what it means to be a Muslim.
Great question.
It doesn't mean to blow people up and kill everything that disagrees with you. Apparently, that's what you're saying. A lot of people believe that. So what does it mean, doctor, to be a Muslim?
Right. In order to be a Muslim, all you have to do is say one simple phrase. I believe that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his servant and messenger. That is all. And by the way, Allah to me, to Muslims, is the same God that everybody else prays to. So we all believe in the same God. Allah is just his personal name in terms of Islam. Now, when someone says that it is a Muslim's job to kill others, once again, I would say, let's go to the Quran. Your guest or your commentator who previously said that Quran asks to kill the infidel, I would challenge him, has he ever read the Quran? Because in Quran there's a verse clearly that says, whosoever killed one soul, it's as if they killed humanity. And whosoever saved one life, it's as if they saved mankind. That is the Islam that we as Ahmadiyya Muslim community preach and practice. And I will very quickly tell you that it's not, someone can say, oh, these are just words. No, these are not words. Every year in September, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community organizes over 200 blood drives in America to raise over 10,000 units of blood. We call it Muslims for Life. But the problem is, if people don't get to hear about it, if the media keeps focusing on 2 planes that crash and never talk about millions of planes that safely land, guess what? People will stop flying. And that is pretty much what has happened. Because every time there is such an intense focus on negative stories about Islam, while there is not enough focus on all that positivity that happens every day, that people become fearful of Muslims.
Well, okay, now I'm going to challenge you and disagree a little bit on that. I mean, they just blew up a social huge function in downtown Boston, the Boston Marathon.
Sure.
And it certainly appears that it's Muslim related, and the Twin Towers were attacked, destroyed, people killed by Muslim radicals, fanatics. So those are 2 huge Now, we also had a homegrown terrorist, a domestic terrorist, Timothy McVeigh, blow up a federal building, and we've had some others. But, Doctor, do you disagree with me that Muslims, by far worldwide and United States-wise, terrorism-wise, they're the ones that are running with that ball?
As I said earlier, there is a virus within the body of the Islam. So I am not here to defend every Muslim. I'll be the last one, and I've said it over and over before. I'll be happy to say it again. I condemn terrorism in the strongest terms. When people die in New York or Boston, to me that's like my family members dying. When Boston happened, Steve, I was seeing patients jumping from room to room. When I started seeing on the TV screen about this breaking news, my first reaction was like any other American. I was shocked. I was saddened. I have family in Boston. I have friends in Boston. So people need to understand that somehow, when these things happen, we are all at risk equally. Yes, our population in America is low, so our risk may be low, but let's not treat each other as two different entities. Having said that, I will not, and I have never defended any Muslim who commits to extremist ideology. All I'm saying is there is a way to bridge that gap. All I'm saying is that if we continue to paint all Muslims with the same brush, my point is you will only make more enemies.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, but I have to bring out that the reason people are angry, because when we think of terrorism in the United States, when we think of the single largest terrorist act in the United States by Muslim radicals, when we think of a terrorist act where there's tons, and a terrible term to use, numerous amputees walking around now, people with missing arms and legs, and I believe 3 dead from Muslim radicals. So I'm trying to get across that I understand the anger and the frustration and the just not knowing what's going on. I could see people going, what? Muslims did this again? Muslims, what is this? Then you go, look, turn on CNN, turn on Fox. You see what they did in Pakistan. So what I'm saying is I don't blame anybody in the United States for thinking, what's going on? It's Muslims. Now, the reason I have you on, Doctor, is because I do believe what you say. I know Muslims, and the ones, and I do not know a lot, they're hardworking Americans, nice people. Now, what you are saying that this is not a common feature for the vast majority of Muslims.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
But I understand that. But we have to give due. We have to give due to what is occurring in America. So I understand what you're saying, but are you also saying possibly, and tell me if I'm wrong, that the media is not picking up on some of the things your Muslim group is doing, blood drives and helping the poor, et cetera, et cetera? Do you feel the media just doesn't even look at that?
All I'm saying is that more could be done. The real issue is, what is our goal? If our goal is to keep showing the same footage over and over again that we have all agreed upon, then I think we can do that. But if the goal is to establish understanding within a community, if the goal is to bring people together, if the goal is to unite America against this common enemy of extremism, then we need to reach out across the aisle to these peaceful Muslim groups and make them our allies who are dying to do that. As I said, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, what more do you want from a Muslim community, Steve? They're the oldest here in America. They're united by one single leader. We have a Khalifa who, by the way, is visiting California these days. They are big supporters of separation of church and state. They hail Nobel laureates and Grammy Award winners and Rhodes Scholars. They believe in equal opportunity, equal education for women. What more? And they are pledging loyalty to America. So to me, that's an ideal community out there to go and partner. My focus really is that we need to do more outreach. I'm really looking at the next step now. I'm done with the diagnostic part. I'm a doctor. At some stage, you're done with the diagnosis. Yes, there are extremist elements within Muslims. We agree on that diagnosis. I'm really thinking, what's the treatment? How do we heal this body? And all I'm saying is we cannot heal this body, Steve, by killing innocent people in the Muslim countries. I think we have to understand that sanctity of human life is the same, regardless of which border we cross. When 20 people in Afghanistan are killed only because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time celebrating a wedding, let's not brush it away. You know, there will be consequences for that because there are people over there who develop extreme hatred for us. So my point really is, at the stage of treatment right now, I believe the treatment, the way we heal this body, is by handpicking those Muslim communities that stand up against this violence, that clearly say that there is no jihad, which is a holy war, that we do not believe in killing the infidel, that we do not believe in, being disloyal to a country where we get our paycheck from. And I think I'm just keep saying about Ahmadiyya Muslim community because that's the community I belong to. I'm sure there are other communities out there like that. All of us need to get together, have this reasonable dialogue, and partner to eradicate that virus. Otherwise, I believe we cannot afford to alienate peaceful Muslims. That is where I was going with it. I don't think we are saying two different things here.
Okay. No, we're going to take a short break, Faheem, ladies and gentlemen, just a short break. And then when we come back, Faheem, I want to talk more about how to handle this virus. And I want to ask you, when you say we should handpick, who do you mean by we? Let's not talk now. When we come back, I want to know who we is and who should start this ball rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We'll be back after these words.
Hey everybody, this is Keith Zalley from the WTOE Radio Network, and right now we're going to take a few extra minute break just so we can save our files for our podcast. So please don't go anywhere because there's going to be more Steve and the KOVACS Perspective in just a few minutes.
Oh, hi Jessica.
Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Is Megan there?
Sure, follow me. The kids are in the kitchen making sandwiches.
Hey, Julie. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Megan. Hey, Megan.
Yeah?
You're a total freak. God, you're ugly. And dumb. Oh, and your makeup makes you look like a tramp. Oh my God. Tommy Morris told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. The whole school knows. He said your breath smelled like garbage, and he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows. And that dress is totally hideous. You look like a big fat clown. Disgusting. Oh, and by the way, nice zit.
If you wouldn't say it in person, why say it online? Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Well, howdy! Thanks for coming to Big Bubba's. We got a mess of used cars. What can we do for you?
We're looking for,
something cute. Well, here's a beauty, a 99 model with a moon roof. As a bonus, we'll throw in a leaking gas tank. You could be driving and kaboom! Adds that zing of excitement.
You got any other cars?
Wouldn't it be great if you could be warned of life's risks? If you have diabetes, you can. There's a simple blood test called A1C that can help measure your risk of complications such as heart attack. Why is it important? Because 2 out of 3 people with diabetes die from a heart attack or stroke. If your A1C is above 7, your doctor can show you how to lower it. If you have diabetes, know your risk for heart attack. Know your A1C. Ask your doctor, or for more information, go to www.diabetesa1c.org or call 1-877-TEST-A1C. Brought to you by the American Diabetes Association, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation International, and the Ad Council.
Hello.
Is Joey home?
Joey, the door.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Hello, son. I'm Dean Rubin from college. I'm here to invite you to join us this fall.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a day.
Well, we've reviewed your application.
Give me an E.
No, wait. Right, you didn't actually fill out an application.
I didn't think I had to.
You know what? That's fine. Because your algebra grade certainly... No? Wait, you didn't actually take...
Well, no one told me I was supposed to...
whatever. You really want to go to college, and we really want to have you.
Joey, Joey, Joey.
Joey.
morning! Out of bed!
Hey, wake up. You can't dream your way into college. There are actual steps you need to take. For all the steps, visit knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Janine Marks, a 12-year-old, was fairly normal. She spent a lot of time online. One day, she met a new friend. The new friend had the same problems at home. They liked the same bands. They worried about the same subjects in school. They promised to keep each other's secrets. They wished they went to the same junior high. The new friend had good news. He said he was going to be in Janine's area one Saturday. He thought it would be amazing if they could just hang out, go to the mall. Janine agreed. The new friend didn't want parents messing this up. Janine showed up alone. So did her new friend, who wasn't in junior high, wasn't nice, and wasn't a 14-year-old boy. Last year, 1 in 5 children was sexually solicited online. Help delete online predators. Call 1-800-THE-LOST or visit cybertipline.com to learn how to protect your kids' online life. A message from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the Ad Council.
And now back to the KOVACS Perspective.
We're talking to Dr. Faheem Younus. He can be reached, and you can take a look at what he's about and some of the things that he talks about and some of the things that he believes in on Muslimerican.com. That's MUSLIMERICAN.com. Muslimerican.com. Doctor, when we last left you, as they used to say in some old-time movie years ago. I wish I knew what it was. But when we left, Doctor, I said that I want to know, you said we should handpick certain Muslim communities. Who's we? Who's we?
All of us, Steve. You, myself, the politicians, the police, FBI, government. Whoever is the decision maker in this country, I think we need to build some bridges of partnership here.
Well, you mentioned who the leaders are in the country, and you worded it well. You said me, you, politicians, the media. The media, we have a 24-hour news cycle, and I'm a part of the media. And I remember when I first became a part, I had a very good reporter friend of mine tell me, investigative reporter, said, Steve, you are a part of the media now. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, you write a weekly column, you have for a long time, and you do a show that you interview people. And I guess that's true, but quite often, Doctor, the media just wants to harp on something that'll get them that shock value. However, I guess, Doctor, if there are these Muslim communities, and I'm not doubting your community, and I'm not doubting there are others, if there are these communities that are really active and really like Americans and really espouse that love and peace is what Muslim is about, that's almost like that's a shock value too. I mean, Doctor, I'm here to tell you the vast majority of Americans have no clue what you're saying. They don't. I guarantee there's people listening right now going, "This doctor's lying. He's full of crap. He's lying." Muslims don't want peace. They don't want love, and there aren't Muslims that want to help and be a part of the American fiber. And you're telling me that it unquestionably is there. And if it is, I got to believe that's kind of exciting for the media.
It should
so
be exactly
shocking.
It should be very exciting, and that's why I keep saying, what more do you need? You have the best of the best. You have the Coca-Cola of Muslims right here. The first ones, the first Muslim organization in America, Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. I think people need to go look into it. They can go to alislam.org. That is our official website. And I've always told you, Steve, call me anytime. All those people that are out there that are doubting it, I can understand. I may not agree, but I can understand where their doubts are coming from. But all I'm saying to them is, hey, have my number, have my email on your Rolodex. Anytime there's a negative news about Islam, call upon us. And we are established in over 70 chapters here in the United States, from Alaska to Hawaii to East Coast to West Coast. I will get you in touch with an Ahmadi Muslim within 24 hours. Can you believe that I do daily commentaries for Fox News Alaska radio station? I have gone and I was interviewed by China Radio International. I was interviewed by CBC in Canada. I have literally gone to the corners of the earth with this message of peace, and we will continue to do that because I believe America needs to hear this message. I think it's a peaceful message that is full of sincere, genuine love. And we have over 100 years of history behind us. People can say, yeah, they're lying. You know, what is my interest if I have to lie? Can you believe if I were to spend all this time that I spent interviewing, writing, giving classes, if I just saw patients for all that time, I'd be able to, you know, pay off my mortgage much faster. I have absolutely no interest in doing this other than the fact that I see my country is bleeding and I want to leave a better country for my children.
Well, exactly. And you know, what you said is, here's what I see can happen if more in the media, more in politics, more in different church denominations, if they intermingle with those of your groups, your group or other groups like yours that believe in peace and rational thinking and respect for everybody. You know where I see that could make a difference, and I go back to the Boston tragedy. I mean, I was so angry when I saw that myself. Angry that these innocent people. But if we see this, more of this on CNN, NBC, CBS, the positives that you say are out there, and I'm taking you, the expert that I'm relying on now. If youngsters see this here in America, and they see somebody from your group or others like you saying, it's happening. I see this that radical Muslims are doing. However, this is what we're about. This is what the Quran is really about. This is how to really get our words across and our truth out. And these youngsters, as you mentioned when we started this show, that are confused, that are being twisted by clerics that are out of whack. I'll say that they're just troubled in their own minds, but they're influencing these young people. If the positives are out in the media more, don't these young folks have much better of a chance of being non-radical?
Exactly, Steve. I'll tell you, the day Boston happened, one of the young members of Ahmadiyya Muslim community called me, and he was very distraught. I said, what's happening? Why are you so upset? He said, my fear is that 10 years worth of my work, of all these blood drives and all these humanitarian work is going to go down the drain because all of a sudden, all of the Muslims will now be held responsible. Well, we kept on talking, and after 15, 20 minutes, he vented, he said all those things. He's a young guy. I said, hey, you know what? Why don't you do the jihad? And he said, what do you mean? I said, you know that Ahmadiyya Muslim community, we believe in the jihad of the pen. So why don't you put together a letter to the editor, put all your thoughts, how you are a peaceful Muslim and this is your fear, send it to me, I'll help you clean it up, and you send it to a newspaper. You know what, Steve? That night, he sent me a letter by midnight, and it didn't need much help. It was a beautiful piece in itself. Next morning, he got published in one of the top 10 American newspapers, and he was so happy because now he was part of the process. That is what we in the Ahmadiyya Muslim community do. We tell them that there is no jihad of the sword, that you can't convince people with a sword anymore. You use your pen, you use a rational argument. And I have to give credit to the media as well. I think since 9/11, the media has come far along. You know, we are at a much better place than before. But the only difference now is, and I again see their angle, that, you know, media would say, well, we just had Dr. Younus on next month, so why have him again? My only point is it's the magnitude that we're talking about now. The anti-Muslim stories far outnumber the pro-Muslim stories, just because, you know, we are 1% of American population. I keep telling folks, hey, please don't look at, you had me on last month. I'm not trying here to promote myself. I'm trying to heal a country. So when you need a healing message, anytime you use the word Muslim and you need an other side of the story, that's the first rule of journalism, objectivity. Where is the other side of the story? So anytime there is a Saudi cleric who says something horrible, anytime they do something atrocious against women in Muslim countries, have us on. Let us denounce it right there and then, so the country knows where Ahmadiyya Muslim community stands on it. And I think that would be a healing message that will bring us together.
Here's a big question.
Please.
I mean, what you're saying makes total sense, and I see that how that could be positive. Now, here's a big one. Are you, your organization, and others like yours, are you doing enough to try to dissuade the radical elements there may be here in America or abroad?
Absolutely. I will tell you, as I just told you the story, in our community, we do annual get-togethers. We do monthly classes with our youth. We let them engage in the society. We have adopted close to 50 highways around the country that our youth, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community's youth wing, they clean those highways and manage them. And the sign says Ahmadiyya Muslim community. They do blood drives. They go to homeless shelters. We keep them busy with positive activity, and we tell them, you are doing this because you're a good Muslim. You're not doing this despite Islam. You're doing it because of Islam. And you're doing it to the country that is your country. If your parents came from Pakistan or Somalia or Bangladesh or Saudi Arabia, yes, they may have those nationalities, but you were born here. This is your country, and you need to be loyal to this country. So I can tell you that there has never been a single terrorist in our organization. We have millions of people in Ahmadiyya Muslim country all around, Ahmadiyya Muslim community all around the globe. There has never been a single allegation of terrorism against any of our members. And the reason is that we have it down to the T, where our leader, I'll give you an example. When something atrocious happens, these clerics will get on Friday sermons and they'll try to, really give passionate speeches as to how you go and kill the infidel. Our leader, on the contrary, who we call our Khalifa, he gives a Friday sermon every week from England, and he would get on the stage and he will clearly denounce those things, and he'll encourage the youth to remain peaceful, to remain loving, to try and engage with the communities. And that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think there is a core reason behind why this community is peaceful, because there is academic clarity on these issues. We are the first one who said there is no jihad of the sword 100 years ago. So those things help out. And I hope that other communities, when they see a radical among themselves, they should be the first one to report that person.
Doctor, one more time, say if someone wants to get a hold of your organization, give out that website.
Exactly. So if they want to learn more about Ahmadiyya Muslim community, the official website is www.alis, as in Sam, lam, as in Mary.org, alislam.org. And if they want to reach me, they know my website, muslimamerican.com.
muslimamerican.com. Final question. Are you ever threatened by other Muslim groups or
Absolutely.
Muslim individuals?
Absolutely. I get those tweets. I get those emails all the time. They say, you are a sellout to the white man. They say, you are not loyal to Islam anymore. You're not even a Muslim. We don't even consider. And trust me, in Pakistan, my native country, my country of birth, they have declared Ahmadis as non-Muslim, in part because we believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, who brought this reformation and renaissance to Islam. So there's a huge price that we are paying for this peaceful teaching. But we are not doing it for America. We're not doing it for Muslim world. We are doing it because it's the right thing to do. When Muslims are, Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Australia, those people are loyal to Australia. When our group that lives in Canada, they're loyal to Canada. We do these things. We are fighting for these principles because this is the right thing to do. We're not trying to appease anybody.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to revisit this on a podcast, go to the KOVACS PERSPECTIVE.10. You may want to throw your pen at it, or you may go, hey, is this guy really, is he serious? Is this true? This may be an interesting topic for other individuals that are really angry at Muslims. They may still be as angry after, but it's an interesting subject matter that Dr. Faheem Younus is talking about. And the thing that struck me, Doctor and ladies and gentlemen, is you're not doing it for this. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Christian, Protestant, whatever, Jewish, Muslims, there's a universal right thing to do. And doctor, I think that was the correct answer. Doctor, the clock on the wall says it's time to go. Thank you very much for a little bit going longer with us because of our other guest apparent emergency. Had a great conversation with you. Keep up the good fight. Always, whatever that is, wherever that may go, to do the right thing. And thank you again, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Steve. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month, the KOVACS Perspective, we're going to try to get the good doctor that could not make it today for a 1-hour show. It's a hell of a topic. Excuse my language when we're talking about religion, but it's a topic that I really want to delve into. Life after death by a woman of science, a doctor of science. I'm going to ask some questions that she wasn't asked, I believe, on much of the mainstream media. I want to talk to her heart. So we'll keep you in tune, let you know about what's going on. Get a hold of me at the info at allsourcesecurity.com. Info@allsourcesecurity.com. Any questions, comments? Until next time, so long.
The KOVACS Perspective is brought to you by the WTOE Radio Network at throughoureyes.org. All WTOE shows are available as a podcast. Visit our podcast page to learn more. The KOVACS Perspective was written by Steve KOVACS, directed by Tom Bendewalt Jr., technical director and audio engineer Len Azzarone, assistant audio engineer Lori Viscuso. For more information about the KOVACS Perspective, visit www.allsourcesecurity.com. All words, ideas, and comments expressed on the KOVACS Perspective are those of Steve KOVACS and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the NFB Northeast New Jersey Chapter, or the WTOE Radio Network. Until next time, I'm Keith Zally.
You done it again.
That's all, folks.